Time to get into this album or mixtape or whatever you want to call it, project review of Lloyd Banks' Halloween Havoc 6, the 6 of Swords. Swords. I'm terrible at saying that word. Swords. There you go. So let's go over it. Let me actually kind of go over my process of how I do album reviews because I haven't done one in a while on the podcast. So the way I do album reviews is I have best tracks, which is the good tracks, the bad tracks, and then I have the neutral tracks. So obviously the best tracks are my favorite on the album. Bad tracks, the ones I don't like. And then the neutral are the ones where I've noticed that, I've sat with this album for 3 days, but with these tracks, I've been like enjoying them, kind of like not really caring about them, kind of enjoying them. So I've noticed that as the months go on, sometimes when I'm listening to a project, I'll listen to certain tracks that I have in the neutral a lot more, and they end up becoming on my best tracks. And then eventually they become on my bad tracks, or I just don't care about them. But right now, there's some tracks on the neutral, actually quite a few, because I'm kind of like on the fence on some of these tracks. But overall, I really enjoyed the project. So let's go over track by track what I think about for this project for the most part. First track is Addition by Subtraction by Cartoon Beats. Shout out to him. I enjoy this track. Great intro to the project. It just made things a great ease into what this project's going to be about. Enjoy the production. No hook from what I heard, if I could remember correctly. Really, really short 2-minute track. Great introduction. Eat What You Killed. Shout out to Mr. Authentic, produced this. Great record. Love this beat too. Killed it. Nothing that I can complain about. Enjoy this track as well. The next track, Book of Records, another track. Shout out to Mr. Authentic. This one had a really gritty beat, which I enjoyed. Subject matter is there. The hook is interesting. So really cool. Enjoyed that track as well. If Time Permits, this was the first track that I had on the neutral. It didn't really have a big impression on me. Not to say that it's a bad track, but I just kind of, I listened to it a few times. I remember as I was going these 2-3 days, I would go back to it, but I really want to go back to it often, So that's the first track I had on the neutral tracks. Haddonfield, I'm pronouncing that right, Haddonfield. George Jetson produced this. Shout out to him. Great track. Like I said, it's in my best tracks. I enjoyed it. I kept going back to it. The next track, Supposed to Be. This track I had on the neutral as well. In between on how I feel about it, but it's still not in the bad section. I think it might end up going that way, but I still enjoyed it. I still have to listen to it a little bit more to kind of get more of a gauge of what I feel about it. But it's in the neutral. It's not bad. It's not good. Die Slow. This track, very different sound. I love the production. Shout out to the Germ. Very different sound from the rest of the tracks. Sounds more fresh, more modern, because I think it has that 808 snare or whatever. I'm terrible at pronouncing the right things that producers use, but it has more of a modern sound to it, which I always enjoy from Lloyd Banks. I've always enjoyed the Cold Corner 2 type of sound, the more modern, fresh sound, which I hope he eventually goes to, just to feed that side of things, because he's stuck to this more New York gritty sound for a while. So I would like the next project, I would like a change of pace, something more modern, more fresh with more modern artists. That would be really cool. But regardless, this Die Slow, I love the melodic hook. It's a different sound from Banks. So I really enjoyed this track a lot, actually. It's probably one of my favorites on the album. Save a Spot. Fruition produced this. This got me very emotional because my dad died earlier this year of lung cancer, stage 4 lung cancer. And this is talking about, losing a loved one. And the bars that really hit me was dreamt about you went back to sleep as fast as I can. Like, man, come back to me if you can. And that really hit me, and I'm getting a little bit emotional just talking about it right now. That really hit me because, I've had dreams of my dad since he's passed, and it does hit you a different way, man. It's something that it's a weird, interesting feeling. It's like the person is trying to talk to you through dreams sometimes. And when he said that, I could really, 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 it was like, damn, like I had to rewind that a few times. So this is, to me, I think the best track on the album. I know I said that about the Die Slow, but this definitely, when Banks get in this bag of more personal, way deep storytelling, it's something that really I haven't heard from artists in a long time, and I really enjoy it from Banks, man. He also said another bar that I really liked is, when I feel like I'm losing my way, I just use your memory, because that's the same thing I do. There are moments where I'm like, man, I just don't, the grief, the sadness hits me, and I'm like, man, my dad would have never allowed me to be like this. He would have been like, man, get up off your ass and do your thing. Don't stop your life because I'm gone. So that hit me differently as well. But yeah, man, talking about this is getting me in a different, emotion with it. But I really love this track, man. Really, really dope track. It hits you differently when you're hearing this type of stuff, man, from an artist that you really respect and enjoy as well. So my favorite track on the project. So check that out. If you're listening to this project, go ahead and check that out. It's my favorite. Number 9, Made a Fool of Me. A track that's on the neutral tracks. I didn't really enjoy it that much. Didn't really dislike it. It's in the middle. Don't really know what to think about it right now, but over time, I'll probably make a solid decision. Changed Up is the next track. Another neutral track where I was like, it's good. This is more where I lean on the good side, but I was like, I don't know. I didn't really go back to it a lot often. So it might just be, sometimes I have tracks where I listen to them. I enjoy them for that one time, and I think it's a good track, but it doesn't have replay value for me. And sometimes that happens. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just replay value isn't there. It's not the right moment to be listening to it. Like Save a Spot, where you talk about someone close to you dying. You're not going to listen to that every day. It's not going to have this insane replay value. You're going to listen to it when you're grieving, or you're having moments where you're thinking about your loved one. Maybe that's the right track to listen to, and it'll help you too. So some of these tracks, it depends on the mood, the moment. So that also plays a huge role. Going down the eye test, I really enjoyed this. Haas Alamid produced this as well. I love this bar, by the way. They say the best ability is availability, but being too available, people will use you willingly. Perfectly said by Banks, of course. As always, great track. Love the production, love the hook, love everything about the track. Next, It Ain't Going Well. This track was another one where I was like, I'm on the fence with. Not a good track, not a bad track. Not a good track. I said that twice. Not a bad track, but also a good track. And, it's on there for me. We'll see as, the days go on and what I decide on that. But usually when these tracks are the neutral tracks, for the most part, they'll go on the good track side. They might go on the bad. I think 2 out of these will go on the bad side. But for the most part, 5 neutral tracks ain't that bad. And then I got 1 bad track and then 10 good tracks. Going next, Talk About It a lot. I love this hook, man. It just got stuck in my head. Very, very catchy hook. So I just kept replaying it because sometimes when a hook gets stuck in your head, it's just, and obviously he's spitting some real shit. So really, really dope. Love that track. The next one is Father Forgive. This is actually the only bad track on the whole project. I just didn't enjoy it. I could care less about it. That's how I felt about it. It just, didn't really have anything that really stuck with me that was really enjoyable. The beat I really didn't enjoy. Delivery, the flow, hook, all that, just didn't really enjoy it. So that was the only bad track for me where I listened to it twice and I just never went back to it. I always give a track, a second chance. Maybe it's the mood I'm in, maybe it's the area. So I give it another second chance. But if I'm not rocking with the second chance, I usually just never really listen to it again. But not a big deal. 1 track is not that big of a deal. Happy Eyes Lie People. This track is arguably the second or third best track on the project. I would say Save a Spot is the best one, then Die Slow, then this. Or I could switch Die Slow and Happy Eyes with this in terms of second and third spots. But definitely Save a Spot is the best one. Then it goes Happy Eyes or Die Slow. Happy Eyes Lie People, amazing storytelling, especially that third verse, that storytelling on that where the person ends up hanging themselves. Crazy. Banks really can get in this bag where, only a few select artists can really tap into that. And that's why I really enjoy Banks, because he can tap into different bags and he's very creative in how he does it. And on top of that, you get a delivery that is, very rare. You don't really hear it often from artists. And it's hard to explain, man. I wish I had bigger words, how journalists be using these achromatic. And he was, I don't have these big words to really explain. I just really enjoy the fucking track. Storytelling is out the wazoo. I don't know if anybody uses the word wazoo anymore. That's like the most old term ever, but just dope as fuck, man. So I really, really enjoy that track. Storytelling is insane. So that's another one that if you want to check out this project, go to that. And then the last track, What's Your Purpose? Another dope-ass track. Love the way this track ended out, too. Thank you, Banks, as always, for everything that you do musically, that you're doing for the fans, for the people. You do what you want to do, what you love, and it resonates through everybody. So overall, like I said, 10 good tracks, 1 bad track, and then 5 neutral tracks. I give the rating on this project 7.5 out of 10. Great project, way above average at 7.5. Average would be 5 out of 10, way above average at 7.5. I enjoyed the project. Production was there. I think the production in the future, though, could change, could use a little bit more of, switcheroo or something sounding a little bit more different, because some of the production really melts together, and it's sounding a lot of the same stuff. So the production could use a little bit of difference in changing, because AON3 to this, there's a lot of songs that sound the same. It's because he's using the same producers. Nothing, towards them. No bad thing about them. They're great producers. It's just sometimes artists need to change their sound up a little bit. So that on the production side, I love the production, but as well in the next project, I hope we get something different, more new sound that we get, new refreshing sound. But yeah, top tracks, Save a Spot, Happy Eyes, Lie People, Die Slow, Eat What You Kill, and Book of Records. I think those are it. For me, those are the top 5 tracks of the project. 7.5 out of 10. That's my thoughts on the project. Let me know what you guys think of it, man. But I really enjoyed it. I think Banks needs to get his props for being one of the best, if not the best artists after the pandemic, because he's been delivering projects, 2, sometimes 3 projects a year. I could be wrong about 3 projects a year, but he's been delivering, at least this year, he delivered 3, because he delivered AON3, he delivered the freestyle one, which was like an exclusive for people that bought his merch. And then this one. So 3 projects this year alone. AON3 to me is still deserving for album of the year. It's obviously competing with Clips for me, but other than that, it is definitely deserving album of the year. So round of applause to Lloyd Banks, man. Give him his just due, his flowers. I think he deserves it. And on this project, no features. Just held it on his own, 16 tracks, and it was thoroughly entertaining throughout the whole project, which is really great. But yeah, next project, Banks, please get to that HFM3 or CC3 sound. I would really enjoy that. I think that's the next step that he should take, because this sound he's been doing for the past 5 years now, which is great. No complaints from me. A lot of the projects actually turn out to be some of the best ever that he's done. But, nothing wrong with switching up. Nothing wrong with working with different, newer artists. I know he asked that on Twitter a lot, so that's my take on it. I think he should work with some newer generation artists, get some new flow, new style, new something flowing in there, new energy, because when you get these newer artists, they bring some type of different energy, which makes Banks then get, sometimes you just feed off energy and it turns out to be really dope. So, and Banks is very good at adapting to sounds. That's no issue for him. You can go from a modern sound to old school to whatever in between. He's always been, that's why I've always praised him, because in G Unit, he was the only one that was like the one that could just jump around and, still sound really great on everything. Other artists kind of had difficult time adjusting, but, not everybody is as gifted, as some artists. So shout out to Banks, man. Thank you again for this project. Loved it. Can't wait for the next one, as always. But yeah, you gave us 3 projects this year, more than enough. Next year, I definitely want to see something like HFM3 or CC3, get more of a artists that, are more modern of today's time. I would like to, there's a lot of artists I mentioned, but Banks could definitely, there's a lot of artists that respect him that would definitely do features with him. So yeah, that's my take on it. 7.5 out of 10, great project. Go ahead and check it out.